My girlfriend's shocking accusation about my roommate and her subsequent ultimatum shattered our 5-year relationship. Let me explain this surreal situation that transformed my understanding of both love and dignity. I'm a 22-year-old college student, and 6 months ago, I welcomed a new roommate, Alex, 23, into my apartment. Alex is a compact guy, standing around 5 feet 5 inches, but what he lacks in height, he makes up for with an impressive physique and facial features reminiscent of a shorter Henry Cavill. He's been nothing short of an exemplary roommate, punctual with rent, meticulous with chores, and generous enough to share his culinary creations. After enduring 3 previous nightmare roommates, one who never paid rent, another who trashed the place, and a third who hosted wild parties until 4 a.m., I considered myself fortunate to have found someone so considerate. The storm erupted when my girlfriend, Sarah, 28, made an unexpected visit one day. I had forgotten to notify Alex about her arrival, and she happened to encounter him shirtless, revealing some scars on his chest. The atmosphere shifted dramatically. Sarah's usual warmth evaporated, replaced by an icy demeanor throughout her stay. Her eyes kept darting to Alex's chest, and her responses became clipped and hostile, creating an uncomfortable tension that filled the apartment like a toxic cloud. Once home, she unleashed a torrent of accusations via text. "Why are you living with a biological female?" she demanded. Bewildered, I sought clarification. She adamantly claimed that Alex's chest scars were evidence of top surgery, and combined with his shorter stature, she was convinced he was transgender. Her messages grew increasingly frantic and hostile, flooding my phone with a mix of anger, accusations, and attempts at manipulation. I attempted to reason with her, explaining that even if Alex were trans, which I honestly had no way of knowing, it wouldn't matter. He presents himself as male, behaves respectfully, and causes no drama, unlike my previous roommates. Those scars could have resulted from various procedures, heart surgery, gynecomastia correction, or any number of medical interventions. But Sarah wouldn't listen, her messages becoming more erratic and demanding with each passing hour. Her demands escalated alarmingly. First, she insisted I confront Alex directly about his gender identity, a request I found incredibly inappropriate and invasive. When I refused, she demanded Alex's last name, planning to conduct a background check. She even threatened to hire a private investigator if I wouldn't cooperate. My continued resistance only fueled her anger. Finally, she delivered an ultimatum that would prove to be the death knell of our relationship. Either I investigate Alex's past and evict him if he turned out to be transgender, or she would have to reevaluate things. I've always lived by one principle: I don't negotiate with ultimatums. The moment those words left her lips, our 5-year relationship crumbled. Despite blocking her on every platform, phone, social media, email, even gaming platforms, she's managed to bombard me with messages daily for over 2 weeks. Her texts run the gamut from crude accusations about my relationship with Alex to desperate pleas for closure, culminating in her involving our mutual friends in this mess, who, thankfully, want nothing to do with her vendetta. She's even created alternate accounts to continue her harassment, each message more desperate than the last. The situation has sparked heated debates online. Some argue I should have simply questioned Alex about his gender identity to keep the peace, while others suggest I betrayed a 5-year relationship for a 6-month roommate. But these perspectives miss the point entirely. This isn't about choosing between Sarah and Alex. It's about standing up against discrimination and respecting basic human dignity. Looking back, I'm forced to confront uncomfortable truths about my relationship with Sarah. Our story began in a way that now makes me cringe. We started dating the day I turned 17, with Sarah being 22 at the time. The age of consent in our state was the only reason we waited until my birthday. We'd known each other our entire lives through our mother's friendship, and had been flirting since I was 15 or 16. At the time, it seemed romantic, like something out of a movie. Now I recognize it for what it was: grooming. Our families, particularly our mothers who are best friends, not only encouraged but celebrated this inappropriate relationship. My mother, who herself had gotten involved with a man twice her age at 16, saw nothing wrong with it. She would joke about Sarah and me being a cute couple, even when I was 12 or 13, making comments about sneaking me into Sarah's prom. This normalization of age gap relationships, combined with my mother's own history of abuse, created a perfect storm of dysfunction. The physical and verbal abuse started subtly. A slap here, a push there, always explained away as passion or stress relief. Sarah would isolate me from female friends, claiming it made her uncomfortable. I had become so accustomed to walking on eggshells that I lost sight of what a healthy relationship should look like. My mother, aware of Sarah's physical and verbal abuse, would dismiss it saying, "Sarah just needs help," or, It's not abuse if there are no marks or bruises. My own childhood was marked by neglect and abuse. I was chronically underweight because my mother often simply didn't feed me. Teachers repeatedly reported concerns to Child Protective Services, but without visible bruises or marks, their reports went nowhere. This warped foundation left me ill-equipped to recognize abuse in my romantic relationships. After much internal debate, I decided to have an honest conversation with Alex. His response surprised me. Instead of being offended or defensive, his first concern was for my well-being. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice filled with genuine concern. It was then that I realized how much our quiet, respectful coexistence had evolved into a true friendship. All those small moments, sharing meals in comfortable silence, exchanging knowing looks when the neighbor's cat would serenade us at 3 a.m., leaving sticky notes with movie recommendations, had woven themselves into something meaningful without either of us realizing it. In a moment of vulnerability, Alex shared that he is indeed transgender, having undergone top surgery at 19 and started hormone therapy at 18. He even has a tattoo commemorating the date he began testosterone, a simple design incorporating the molecular structure of testosterone with the date, something I'd noticed but never thought to ask about. But more importantly, he helped me understand that my instinct to protect his privacy and dignity wasn't just about being a good roommate. It was about being a decent human being. "You know," he said with a slight smile, "you're actually my best friend. I was always worried about being too clingy or annoying you by trying to chat more." The aftermath of this revelation has been transformative. Alex, proving himself to be not just a roommate but a true friend, connected me with his therapist who specializes in domestic abuse survivors. He didn't just hand me a phone number. He sat with me through the initial anxiety of making the call, sharing his own experiences with therapy and how it helped him through his transition. I'll be starting sessions next week, breaking the cycle of normalized abuse that has shaped my life since childhood. He's even offered to accompany me to a domestic violence support group, promising we can leave if it feels overwhelming. "We can get ice cream after," he suggested, regardless of whether we stay for 5 minutes or the whole session. My mother remains in denial about the permanence of my breakup with Sarah, clinging to the notion that this is just a temporary disagreement. She doesn't know about Alex's gender identity. I've simply told her that Sarah's controlling behavior became too much to bear. When asked about Alex's background, we've agreed to say he had heart surgery, a simple explanation that satisfies curiosity without compromising his privacy. The property manager has been incredibly supportive, implementing comprehensive security measures. Sarah's name is now on the Do Not Admit list, and the building's security protocol is strict. Without a gate code, visitors must go through the main office where the manager's son verifies their status. If someone's on the Do Not Admit list, especially in cases involving potential criminal behavior, they're immediately asked to leave. Any attempt to enter after that would be treated as criminal trespassing. Through this ordeal, I've learned profound lessons about friendship, dignity, and self-worth. What started as a simple roommate arrangement has evolved into a friendship that helped me recognize and escape a toxic relationship. Alex has even invited me to join his weekly Dungeons & Dragons campaign, something Sarah would have mocked mercilessly. "It's just a bunch of nerds rolling dice," she would have said, but it's so much more than that. It's opened up a whole new world of social connections and creative expression that I was denied during my relationship with Sarah. Watching Alex masterfully weave stories as our dungeon master, I'm discovering the joy of simply being myself without fear of judgment or ridicule. My character, a healer who helps others while learning to protect himself, might be a bit on the nose, but the group just smiled knowingly when I introduced him. They've welcomed me with open arms, sharing snacks, teaching me the rules with infinite patience, and never making me feel like an outsider. For the first time in years, I have friends who accept me for who I am, not who someone else wants me to be. The college's counseling services, which Alex warned me about based on his personal experience, weren't equipped to handle the complexity of my situation. But thanks to his recommendation, I've found a therapist who specializes in both domestic abuse and LGBTQ+ issues. She's helping me understand how my childhood experiences with my mother set me up to accept Sarah's abuse as normal. The domestic violence support group, though initially intimidating, has become a source of strength. Alex keeps his promise to accompany me each time. And yes, we do get ice cream after every session, regardless of how much I participate. The comments from transgender individuals on my original post have opened my eyes to the daily struggles they face. What I considered basic human decency, protecting someone's privacy and standing against discrimination, is apparently rare enough to warrant praise. It's a sobering reminder of how much progress society still needs to make, especially in places like our Bible Belt community, where I didn't even know trans people existed until I was 16. Alex has become my window into understanding these struggles, patiently answering my questions, and sharing his experiences without ever making me feel ignorant for asking. As I navigate this new chapter of my life, juggling full-time studies while maintaining my grades for scholarships and grants, I'm grateful for the unexpected friendship that emerged from this crisis. My academic advisor has been understanding about the situation, helping me arrange extensions when Sarah's harassment affected my ability to focus on assignments. The campus security office has also been notified, just in case she tries to bring her vendetta to my classes. The path forward isn't easy. I still have to maintain my academic performance to keep my financial aid, deal with my mother's denial, and process years of normalized abuse. The college's LGBTQ+ alliance, which Alex encouraged me to join as an ally, has become another source of support. They've helped me understand that standing up against discrimination isn't just about defending one person. It's about creating a world where everyone can live authentically without fear. But for the first time in years, I feel like I'm actually living rather than just surviving. My grades are improving now that I'm not constantly walking on eggshells, and I'm even considering applying for a study abroad program next semester, something Sarah would have never allowed. Alex has promised to keep our Dan-D campaign going via video chat if I go, and the thought of having friends who support my growth rather than stifle it still feels wonderfully foreign. Sometimes, standing up for what's right means standing up for yourself too. In defending Alex's right to privacy and dignity, I found my own voice and work. It's a daily journey of healing and growth, but I'm no longer walking it alone. Between therapy sessions, Dan-D campaigns, support groups, and late-night conversations with Alex about everything and nothing, I'm building a life that feels authentically mine. And that's worth more than any relationship built on control and fear.